What's up, guys? Chris here from Vanguard Central, just bringing you a play-by-play match on a budget deck that I did for the blog. Please check it out in the description. It's the Budgetguard 24 Saint Seiya Liberators, named because the main cards, Murasame Liberator Coil and his mate, are dressed in shining gold armor like the gold saints of Saint Seiya. And I'll just talk about the deck and the game as it progresses. As you see early, I did a little bit of aggression with my Bruno and got a crit. He responds, doesn't get a crit, but I take that damage, and I draw into my grade 3, which is great. I'm calling another Bruno just to keep up that early offense, make sure that my attacks are going to hit, and I'm not too worried about the late game consequences of that, because with the superior calling, Brunos are going to get bigger, and they'll kind of make up for the fact that they're just 7Ks. So here I think I can guard with a 5K shield. I can't. Oops. I'm going into that, and I'm making sure that I have a strong play this turn, so I'm discarding a grade 2 and a grade 1 to stride. That perfect guard is also going to set up a unflips later in the game. And he doesn't guard, so if I had gotten a crit there, I would have won. I do not, unfortunately, and fortunately, because that wouldn't be a very exciting game. So I call Marin, which is a grade 3 searcher, trying to get that Legion to set up for next turn. And I don't. He also got a crit trigger on his damage check, which means I can't hit him as effectively. So we'll just go for his rear guards, swing in his Vanguard a little bit, and pass the turn. So I'm not really sure what his deck does because he's playing with the new Bermuda support from the clan booster. And he's talking about an Olivia stride earlier, and I think he goes into that. If you don't know what that does, is basically he gets to choose 5 units with different names when he attacks and bounce them all to his hand, and then call two rear guards from his hand. And if you bounce like 3 units with that effect, it gets a crit. So he has like all different units in his hand, so he's going to call them all out, make this super offensive play against me. And what I'm thinking right now is I don't have a grade 3 in my hand, so striding is going to be a little hard. And it's not really my best option either, because he's already at 5 damage. And this deck can just make huge columns. Like, we're talking really huge columns without striding. And so I'm thinking I want to go for that play. So I'm going to risk that he's going to double crit me with Olivia, which gains an extra crit, so that I can get limit break guaranteed. He does not double crit me, so I go to 5 damage, which is perfect. All part of my plan. And I guard his rear guard to stay alive. And here I call my extra Bruno so I can just get massive Brunos from these callings. And I start using my limit break. And the limit break is you put a Liberator on the bottom of your deck. Whoops. And then you call 2 Liberators from... Actually, I don't think they have to be Liberators, actually. But you call 2 units from the top 4 cards of your deck. Yeah, look at top 4, call 2 of them. And then the units you called get plus 5,000 each. So as you can see, there isn't a limit. There isn't a limit to my limit break. Hey! So I use it again, putting back one of my grade 3s, and I'm going to call out 2 units. So now I have a full field. And that's really great because each time I'm doing this, I'm giving plus 6 to my Brunos, which I actually forgot to do in this match. So those Brunos should have actually been 19k boosters instead of 13k boosters, which makes a difference for what's about to happen. And even that draw trigger isn't looking too puny, being plus 5k, so he's a 10k attacker. So I swing in my Vanguard, get the perfect guard, get a heal, so that will help me a lot next turn. Swing in with my draw trigger, which he has to guard with a ton of shield, and then with my other column. And as you can see, I should have had an extra 6k on both sides, so that would have been 5k more shield he needed, and his hand would have been gone. But since I misplayed, he does have the grade 1 and the grade 2 to stride again. Just a little bit more about the deck. I'm using both Coil and Margot because they essentially have the same ability, which is you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and you call 2 to open rearguard, and the units you call get plus 5k. So having all my grade 3s, all 8 of them, have the same ability, makes the deck super, super consistent. You know, no matter what grade 3 I'm riding, game plan is still the same, and I really love that. So he uses Olivia again, has those 3 different units, and he's going to bounce, he's going to draw a card with Peace, and call those back out for another attack later. This is alright with me because I have the perfect guard, so I'm just going to PG that, get that unflip, so now I can actually set up my my limit break for the next turn, and easily guard his last attack. So now it's my turn. The great part about Margot compared to Coil is that Coil is like a discard from hand, where Margot is you put a Liberator from your field onto the bottom. So it's actually opening up a spot, as you see here, for the unit I want to call. So it actively replaces any bad units you might have on the field. And that's what makes it so good. So doing all these power play attacks, he doesn't have enough to guard because he checked a 3/3 and a 2. So that's game. Unfortunately, his internet decides it was game before it was actually game, and he disconnected. I hope you like this play-by-play match. Expect to see more about my budget decks that I'm writing about on the blog. So please check that out in the link in the description below. Like us, subscribe, and please come back for more. Vanguard Central out.